Well, hello there, good people. Hi, Jason here, Green Country Agroforestry. Ooh, sun's in my eyes there. Hang on a second. Let me change the camera angle. Okay, that's better. So, I've been out to visit the ducks this morning, and they provided me with a couple of eggs, and I decided I'd like to make an omelet. And I want to put onions in my omelet, and I want to put something like a potato in my omelet, but it's just me this morning, and this is the smallest potato I could find. I'm not going to use this whole potato in my omelet, and in fact, unless I have something else that uses the rest of this potato during the day or the next day, especially if I don't use the refrigerator, then the potato is going to go to waste. And I hate to waste food, so I need to find something that's going to let me have the calorie value, the starch calorie value of, say, the potato, but not being as big as a potato. Something that's convenient and easy for me to gather in the garden. Follow me and we'll see what we can dig up. Now, of course, our longtime viewers are aware that we grow Egyptian walking onions here. This is the Cepa allium proliferum that you've heard so much about in homesteading and agroforestry or permaculture circles. Yep, we have them for sale. We actually grow them and produce them, one of the few places that do, and you can get them from us at greencountryagroforestry.com. This is March still, right? If it's still March and you order a dozen, I will send you one extra dozen with your order at greencountryagroforestry.com. So we have these for sale, but as you can see, they grow everywhere, including the areas that we haven't been trying to maintain at all, like the walkways. I'm just going to go ahead and dig out some onion for my breakfast. Pardon me a moment here. All right, this is fun. We got some alfalfa right here, perennial, right? And this one I think is actually a red clover. We'll see whenever it blooms. But I scattered some perennial nitrogen fixtures throughout the bed. It's kind of a toss-up. On the one hand, the root systems compete with the alliums. On the other hand, they produce wonderful fertilizer whenever I cut them back and scatter the remains in amongst the allium beds. So it's an allium bed that has its own fertilizer built in. We're going to go here to the base of one of the older plants. It's hard to get the hoary knife in edgewise. Right. These guys are just terrific. They go through incredibly cold snaps and bounce right back. They can take just about any abuse you throw at them. But I don't need a whole lot. All I need really is one onion for breakfast. Who is it gonna be? It's gonna be the one with the least roots whenever I pull these out. So that one's gonna make a good plant. That one looks pretty good. That one, probably not a problem. This one should make it. That one should make it. This one's a little iffy. There we go. There we go. So that's the one I'm gonna eat. I could plant and grow this one too. Well, this is the one I'm gonna eat. So, my breakfast onion that I harvested. Give the worms something to go after here in a couple of days. Just under the shoulders there. I know, sad, huh? Sometimes you gotta attract the worms so they'll leave their manure. It's a kind of a combination. The alfalfa produces its own growth hormone. So as it breaks down, that will find its way to the roots of the plant that I just planted. And of course the worms are going to come along to consume the decomposing bits, and they're going to create nitrogen in their waste as they crawl around through the roots of the plants, and that'll fertilize. So we've got lots of dynamic interactions going on there. But we're left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this one is in the process of dividing, but it would be difficult to divide it without damaging it, so we're going to call that 6, but really 7. That's one onion. All right, now without moving from where you are right now, I want you to just look right down there beneath your feet. And as you can see all around here, we've got little volunteer onions that have popped up. We've got ourselves another edible right down here that we're going to incorporate. This is called yellow dock or curly dock. Rumex crispus. It is a sorrel. And it's loaded with vitamin A and iron. And I'm just going to cut just a few greens out. Yeah, that's all that I need for my omelet. I'm just going to add a little bit of extra vitamins, iron to my omelet. There we go. This little green plant popping up right here is called stinging nettle. Yep, it's stinging nettle. I'm just going to pinch off a little bit. There. Put it there. There. There we go. Yeah, I got some of the little barbs have already got me, and that's fine. Because the sting, although initially uncomfortable, causes a histamine response and is good for relieving things like arthritis. You gently dab your hands. A little initial discomfort and itch, and then whenever it goes away, so does your pain. Oh, there we go. So all of that works to stimulate blood flow, and the blood flow helps alleviate your arthritic issues as well. I do not have stinging nettle available for sale at the moment, but if you look around close where you live, you may find some. There we go. Now, aside from being prickly to the fingers, stinging nettle is also nutrient rich. So we're going to take a little bit, we're going to chop it up and cook it down in our omelet. There we go. Well, right here we've got a cluster of daylilies. That's some Canacia right there. Picked up the Canna edulis. I only had a couple. I haven't spread them around very much. Canna edulis is the more commonly cultivated, we call Queensland arrowroot. It's Canna indica, but it doesn't have the purple streaks that Canna indica purpura does, and it doesn't get quite as tall. So there's that. All right, now these are daylilies that I'm getting ready to dig up here, and I'm just going to look for a nice big spot in the middle of the clump and get my hoary knife in. All right, there's a good spot. Let's get in over here. Sometimes a garden fork is good. Now, there's a couple ways you can do this. If you want, you can harvest the greens whenever they're very, very young. You'll have this nice clump, like fleshy clump together there at the base. At this time of year, these greens are filled with protein. So I'm going to go ahead and use this entire plant. And here you can see how it's producing new plants. These little runners, I think they're called stolons, come off to the sides, and they will come up and form a new plant whenever it finds a place to come up and break through. Given enough time, a colony of daylilies can fill in an entire area, crowd out the grass, and, well, shoot, they're a lot better than grass. So let's go ahead and pull this plant out. I'll show you what we're going to eat. All right, now let's have a close look at this. Your greens beyond about this point are going to be getting to be tough and not good for us to eat, but I can put these in the worm bin and the worms can have them after they decompose a little bit. There we go. This is the part that we want. And then of course we got down here at the base all of these little, I'm just going to pull them off, these little tiny tubers that are right here at the base. Whatever you look at them, if they are light in color, that means that they are fresh. If they are dark, like a dark brown, they are probably old, and if they're old, you don't want them. But if they're young, light colored like these are, then they're going to be great. And you can eat them raw, or you can eat them cooked. And we're going to cook them up in our omelet. Might snack on one or two fresh too, right here where we're at. All right, so we're going to clear up the rest of this root matter here. I'm going to keep those pieces of stolon because those have protein in them. All right. The rest of the fine roots, that stuff we'll put in the worm bin, along with these greens. Oh, I'm going to lose part of my lunch. All right. And I don't need the little tiny fine roots. I also experimented a bit with these little fine roots. I took them and put them in a jar, let them dry out, and they actually do make a fairly decent tinder bundle for getting your fireplace started in the winter. If you use a wood stove and you don't want to feed it to your worms or what have you, you can always save it for tinder. Okay, this stuff goes to the worms, this stuff goes to the kitchen. After a little bit of a wash up, of course. All right, let's take one of these. I'll rub the dirt off of it. Rub sand on it. All right, rubbing the dirt off. That's right. So there we go. That's what they should look like. Very light in color, not dark. Light color. All right. You have to get all the dirt off of them. They're safe to eat raw. Got a little crunch. And they kind of divide in half like that. You see the inside? It's all starch. This outer skin that's on them is dietary fiber. You can peel them off. You can peel it off if you don't want it. But if you have a diet of mostly nuts and berries, you need all the dietary fiber you can get, and these little roots provide you with a little bit of it. They're crunchy. Maybe a slight, sometimes you can get maybe a slight floral taste or floral scent from them when you're eating them. But mostly, whenever they're raw, they kind of taste like under-ripened peanut. If you ever have a peanut that you're growing and it hasn't quite fully finished maturing in the shell, but the nuts there is kind of white, and you pop it open and you eat it and it's kind of starchy, that's kind of what the flavor is whenever you're eating them raw. So now we got some bonus protein to go in our omelets. And we got a little starchy tuber that we're going to add. And of course we're going to add a whole Egyptian walking onion, a dock leaf, and a little bit of stingy nettle, along with our duck egg. Let's go make an omelet. So as you can tell from looking at our kitchen, we actually don't spend a whole lot of time cleaning in here. All right, yeah, that's a okay. Well, at least there's not the residue of the last time that we made sushi rice in the rice cooker. All right, so in the interest of making an omelet, I had to have a source of oil or fat, and we have a piece of bacon, one strip of bacon here from a pig that was very generous and donated some of their belly. We're rendering that for the oil. Meanwhile, we've got our veggies and our eggs here. Let's click on the eggs. I'm going to go ahead and open these guys up. Like so. There we go. These are duck eggs. We're going to save the shells. Whip these yolks up. And have a fancy omelet. 2 eggs today. I'm going to add a little bit of black pepper. Not much, just a little bit. I know, it says black pepper. It's a shaker. I put powdered garlic in it. What do you do with garlic whenever it's dried up and you can't plant it? There we go. A little bit of garlic, a little bit of pepper. You know, it could get crazy. Yeah, let's get crazy. This isn't store-bought dill. This is from the garden. Crumbled up. Put in a store-bought dilly container. There we go. Our cumin here is actually store-bought because I haven't succeeded in growing our own cumin, and somebody else bought the paprika. Okay. There we go. A little bit of dill, a little bit of black pepper, a little bit of garlic, like so. A little bit of salt. Oh, how do we make the salt? I'm glad you asked. Yeah, you're going to love this. This is a mortar and pestle. This is coarse salt, chipped off of a block. Goes in the mortar and pestle. And then you grind it to your desired consistency. I just set it aside for use later. Alright, egg scrambled. Let's have a look at our veggies. This is the daylily stock. The greens right there, we're getting right at the edge of what you can eat. Let's put this aside for the worms. A little bit of the green is fine, but once it starts to mature and get dark green, they become tough and you can't eat them anymore. You're going to have a little bit of material on the outside that you're just going to cut off. And you'll notice if you're shaving this off that you've got a nice firm core here. And that firm core is all protein. Well, it's not all protein. There's other parts, but it's mostly protein. All right. So even if you didn't have animal protein, you can get protein in your diet from stuff like this. Now we're just going to go ahead and cut it up into smaller parts. Like so. There we go. Our daylily tubers don't really require a whole lot, but we're going to go ahead and snip them in half too, maybe thirds. And You can peel them if you like. Kind of like a potato, you just blanch and then slip the skin off. Okay. And then our stinging nettle. If I had goji berry ready, I'd throw some goji berry in here too. Goji berry, whenever they're still young, it's a little early for them. But whenever you've got goji berries, you can use them like tomatoes in the early spring. They have lots of lycopene, and they have a similar flavor whenever they're cooked down. Otherwise, they taste kind of like a multivitamin if you're eating them raw. Once they've matured, whenever they dry into raisins in the winter, then they turn sweet. You don't have to eat all of your dock. That's a little on the tough side. So dock is vitamin A and iron. There we go. And of course you know about onions. Onions are always good. We're going to chop this one up. It's going to go in. And we're going to mince these bits here. Probably don't want the dry bit. Okay, there we go. So we got our veggies. Got our eggs. We have some meat, if you want the meat. Put that to the side for the moment. Of course, you don't have to use bacon. You could use some expressed pecan oil. That would be pretty good. Hazelnut oil. Butter. There we go. Just for a little extra fun, I got a couple strawberries here. And of course, a little tiny bit of cheese. Why not? Don't let it go too long or you'll burn your stuff. Temperature up to incinerate. How nice and orange those oaks are. Holy crud. Is that good looking egg or what? Don't answer that question. Be kind. Okay. There we go. Now, filling goes back up this way. The rest of your egg goes in here to fill in the gaps. There we go. Fill in the gap. Yeah. Fill in the gap. One, two, three, four. Tell me what we're cooking for. YouTube. All of you guys. Okay, here we go. Oh, wow. Oh, I tore it up a little bit, but there we go. Now, kill the fire. Get us some cheese in there. You can skip the cheese if you don't have cows. Cover that for just a minute. Albion Everbearing strawberries don't produce a lot of berries, but they do produce consistently throughout the season. This one was a store-bought Albion Everbearing strawberry. That's about what they look like. They are not necessarily the sweetest berries that you will find if you get them from the store, but if you grow them yourself, you will find that they turn out quite well, or at least the ones I've got turn out quite well. I don't sell them because they're really not all that popular. They're more of a berry for people who like to have fresh fruit daily from their own gardens, rather than people that want to have a product to sell on the market. Okay, that's enough strawberry right there. I don't think I need to add any more. All right. We've got a somewhat odd looking omelet. Sorry, the break made a little variation in what we could expect. I know. Things don't always work out the way we planned. Isn't that the way it is? So our omelet comes out looking a bit like that. Let me go wash my fork so I can eat it. All right, but before I can have breakfast, we got to do something about the birds. They haven't had theirs yet. Guys, I hope you like sunflower seeds because I don't have anything else to feed you. Now, where was I? Ah, yes. Breakfast. And to wash it down, we've got our coffee, which is half milk with a little bit of lion's mane mushroom powder and a shot, well, half a shot of creme de menthe liqueur. And it comes out tasting like a chocolate mint, like one of those little tiny individually wrapped green chocolate mints. You know the ones I'm talking about. They got the milk chocolate on the top, milk chocolate on the bottom, and a little ribbon of white chocolate that they flavored with mint in the middle and dyed green. Yeah, tastes just like one of those in a cup. All right, let's try this omelet out. Here we go. All right, have a look at that. We got our tomato, egg, all the goodies in there, daylily tuber right there, all the good stuff. Here we go. Well, I gotta tell you, I think a person could eat this. Mm-hmm. Sorry, big bites.